Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our FC26 career mode here with Burnley. We are returning today with the penultimate episode of season 1 of The Save, where we're going to play through probably around 6 or 7 of our remaining 8 Premier League fixtures, where we've got some really tough games to close out and we're not quite over the line with our Premier League survival just yet. So I'm fearing that a tough run of form could see us slip back down into the bottom 3. We have got a nice big healthy point gap, so I'm hoping the teams below us just lose all their remaining games. But we're going to kick off today with a trip to Craven Cottage as we take on Fulham, who sit just above us in the league. Come on, you Clarets. Yeah, we got a really tough end to the season, and as Muniz drills in the opening goal, I'm worried, man. I'm really worried. I feel we might get dragged back into this. It is not done yet. We've got Manchester City, Arsenal, Aston Villa all to come. Tough game here away at Craven Cottage. Forest away at the City ground. We've got a really tough run in. Leno goes quick with his kick and Muniz wins the header, and we're in serious trouble here. Chukwueze, I can't get there, and Iwobi will make it too. All at sea at the back. Fulham double their advantage, and I am very nervous. We just couldn't break Fulham down. It's as simple as that. They were absolutely fantastic at the back today, and we just could not find a way through. There's a reason why we are the lowest scorers in the division, and that was on full display here. I'm feeling nervous heading into our final 7. We've just got to take it game by game and hope to get some victories on the board. But before jumping into our next one, we're going to head back to the menu and get our final scouting update of the season. Oh, guys from England, this is pretty tough because there's a few guys at the top here that we've been scouting for a while. I think I'm going to give a scholarship to Jamie Seymour, who's showing great potential. I like the look of Andy Pope, and with the showing great potential tag, I am going to give him a scholarship. But as for the rest of these guys, do I think anyone's going to be an absolute star? I mean, maybe Atkinson, maybe Hobson. Do you know, we'll give Hobson a scholarship as well, because we can always release them from the academy if they're not good enough. So the rest of these guys are going to be rejected. And there is going to be one more scholarship from the Republic of Ireland. That is going to go to Matthew McManus. Again, showing great potential. So not a huge potential, but good enough to give him a scholarship. And for the rest of these guys, they're going to be turned away. And again, from Scotland, are any of these goalkeepers better than the lad we've already got in the academy? I'm not so sure. This lad could be okay, Arthur Nicol. But again, it's only 1 month worth of scouting we've got on him. I think for the time being, I'm going to give him a scholarship. And if the potential does massively decrease, then we can always release him at a later date. But the rest of these guys are all going to be rejected. So here's a full look at the academy. Obviously, the guys that have been here for a bit longer, the likes of Hardy and Draper, have got a sort of reduced potential. You can see 87 to 93, whereas the new guys, the likes of Nicol and Seymour, have got quite a big potential range. So between now and the beginning of next season, we'll just sort of assess how those potential ranges sort of widen or slim down, and we'll potentially release some of these guys at a later date. But we've got quite a few players in the academy. I'm just not sure how many of them are going to make it. Well, anyway, guys, youth scouting done for the season. Let's just jump straight into our next game. It is a huge one as we take on Brighton and Hove Albion. They sit just 4 points above the relegation zone, so they are desperate for points, as are we, to ensure our survival for next season. So a big clash between two of the sides that could potentially be dragged into the relegation scrap. Come on, you Clarets. Yeah, this is a really important little run of fixtures, this. We've got Brighton here and then Forest away at the City ground, which is not an easy game, before we then take on Manchester City. So after a string of poor results in the league, I'm desperate to stop the rot today, and to be honest, I would probably take a point. I know all 3 would be absolutely huge, but in the current run that we are on, I would take a point today. And as the corner goes in, oh, Dubravka. Oh, Martin, you've been so good all season long. And I've seen a lot of you guys in the comments saying next season you're going to need a younger goalkeeper to replace Dubravka, and I completely agree, but part of me also thinks it's harsh to drop him after he's been so good this season, but that is an absolute clanger. Welbeck finds Baleba. Back to Danny Welbeck. Cullen with him. Now it's Jorginho Rutter through the gap. Brooks onside. Doubles Brighton's lead. And we are in serious trouble. Toma dispossessed, and I heard a few boos ringing around Turf Moor as we headed into the break. Need the crowd to stick with me here as Edwards does well and does win a corner for Burnley, but we need a goal from somewhere to get back into this game. Hartman's delivery is a good one. Walker goes up and it's off the line, and Hannibal will keep that alive out to Hartman. Hannibal again. Florentino couldn't offload. And that's the closest we've come today, but we really needed that to find the back of the net. Now Chuana waits for the run of Hartman. That's better from Burnley. Got Rudoni in support, and there is Rudoni, our top scorer. Jack Rudoni off the bench and straight onto the score sheet. 8 minutes left to play. Can we rescue a point late on? No, it's too little too late for Burnley, and as the boos ring around Turf Moor, I think the fans are feeling nervy as well. I think that is now 4 or 5 losses in a row in the Premier League. It might even be longer than that. I honestly can't remember the last time we picked up a point in the league. Things don't get much easier for us now heading to the City ground up next to take on Ange Postecoglou's side. We desperately need to stop the rot and get some points on the board because we are just slipping further and further down the table. Big game up next. Come on, you Clarets. Yeah, we desperately need a positive result today with Manchester City up next, and I've made some changes to the lineup just to try and freshen things up, and I think for the first time this season I'm actually starting a game with Hannibal and Rudoni both in the starting lineup, so I'm hoping that's going to make a difference as Amdouni does well, holds on to the ball, does really well. Jaden Anthony's strike is turned away by Matt Sells, and that is really positive from Burnley, as that's going to come for Edwards and Zeki and Rudoni, and Rudoni does well and picks out Zeki Amdouni, who's back on the score sheet for Burnley, and what an important goal that could be. Just his 4th of the season. Rudoni did really well to stay calm and composed once he'd rounded Sells, not to just try and shoot from a tight angle, but to get his head up, pick out the Swissman, and he fires it into the top corner. Burnley lead at the City ground. Yeah, we've deserved that lead as well as Forest get us off and underway for the second half, although I'm not sure if Swissman is actually a term for somebody from Switzerland, so yeah, sorry to any Swiss viewers who might be offended by that, but as Forest come forward, backwards shot is comfortable for Dubravka, but we've been in control in that first half. We've just got to make sure we don't allow Forest to get on top in this second period. Well, this is it for Forest. Di Lorenzo finds Douglas Luiz and gives White out to Ndoye. Danger. Ndoye, big save Dubravka. That could be huge as Hannibal goes into the book, but I don't think he's going to care as Martin Dubravka's save may have just rescued all 3 points. Corner swung in, headed on. Dubravka will claim, and that is going to do it. Burnley returning to winning ways, and that could be the win that all but secures Premier League football for next season. That is a huge, huge result for the Clarets, especially with Manchester City coming to take us on at Turf Moor next. That is one step closer to survival, but I'm not holding my breath just yet. And it's a big game up next as Pep Guardiola's in town, coming to take us on at Turf Moor. If we can get anything out of this game after a fantastic win on the road at the City ground, then that will move us even closer to Premier League survival. Come on, you Clarets. Well, early stages of the second half and we're still deadlocked at 0-0. We've done a really good job of keeping City out, but can we do it for 90 minutes as Doku looks to take on Walker? Still Jeremy Doku. Leaves Walker. Doku shoots, gets it back, and fires the ball into the back of the net. Well, not really much we can do about that. A deflection takes it back into the path of Jeremy Doku with his 18th goal of the season. What a campaign for the Belgium. If anyone's looking more likely at the moment, you think it's probably going to be City. Cross comes in. Dubravka punches. Brun Larsen can't get there. Reinders does really well and it's off the post. And Reinders again. This time it is into the back of the net. Tijani Reinders with his 8th of the campaign wraps up the points for Manchester City, and as expected they are going to leave Turf Moor with all 3 points. Before we head into our next game, I want to jump back to the menu, take a quick look at the league table, because I think a win in our next fixture could secure Premier League safety. Well, Man City adding a 3rd goal late on won't help our goal difference. And looking at the numbers here, it could come into play. It's all pretty tight in terms of the goal difference column. But we're currently 5 points clear of West Ham in the relegation zone. But we do have a game in hand. But Leeds have played only 33. But it's all pretty tight down at the bottom of the table. And honestly, we could finish anywhere from still 19th, I would say, up to maybe 11th. I don't think we're going to catch United now, but anywhere from 11th to 19th, it is still so tight in the Premier League in the bottom half. So we're just going to jump into our game against Leeds. Massive, massive clash at Ellen Road, as Leeds practically need a win to keep themselves with any fighting chance of playing Premier League football next season. So let's just dive straight into it. Leeds away at Ellen Road. Come on, you Clarets. Yeah, we've of course faced Leeds twice already this season as Roden heads on. And I think both games have actually been 0-0. I know we drew 0-0 here in the Cup in the early rounds of the League Cup, which went all the way to penalties. And then I think we also drew 0-0 at Turf Moor. In the reverse fixtures, Dubravka tips that over the top. That's a really, really important save. Jadon Anthony. Amdouni. Anthony. Back to Rudoni. And, oh, Amdouni. Amdouni, that's brilliant. Zeki fires it in towards goal. It was definitely going off target, but the skill was absolutely fantastic from him. And as Rudoni now looks to be played through, well, guys, it's no surprise this has been a terrible game. These two sides just cannot find a way to score against one another. But at the moment, I'd say this is probably a better result for us than it is for Leeds. But that might drop for Okafor. It's off the woodwork. And Hannibal will head clear. Rudoni heads it further away. But Leeds know that they need all 3 points today. And they're pushing to try and get all 3. Okafor to James. Denied by Dubravka. 15 to play. And as I say, this is a much better point for Burnley than it is for Leeds. But as Dan James has it again. Now, James Justin swings the cross in. Stack coming in. No. It's dropped in. Oh, it's Dubravka with another howler. And I really think he should have kept that one out. That is a big goal for Leeds United. And a really worrying goal for all Burnley fans across the country. Anton Stack's first of the campaign. And Dubravka really should have done better, in my opinion, and kept it out. Tough conditions. And he does fly in and head it towards goal. But I think Dubravka has got to get more on that and keep it out. It's straight at him. Got to get the ball forward. Cullen floats it out to Jadon Anthony. No clear route forward here. Rudoni does get it out to Jadon. And now it's Rudoni again. This is nice football. And Rudoni across the box waiting for someone to get on the end of it. And no one in a Burnley shirt is there. You can stay with me for the final few moments. As Loom finds Roberts and Zeki off the bench. Uses his body well. Trying to win a penalty maybe. Hannibal lets fly straight down the throat of Lucas Perry. And that is going to do it here at Ellen Road. Big victory for Leeds. And a really worrying defeat for Burnley. Back to back in the Premier League after our win at the City ground. But Now we are really worried. That moves Leeds up to 29 points, I think it is, and really gives them a chance with, I think they've got 4 games left to play. Anton Stack's goal is enough to win it, and with us taking on Villa next up at Turf Moor, another really tough game. Again, guys, I'm really worried. Let's see if we can get something out of this. Come on, you Clarets. Marlon turns away from Josh Cullen. Looks to get back at him, but now Elliott finds Ollie Watkins. Danger, gets half a yard. Watkins shoots. Big save, Dubravka. Not clear. And now Cullen does get his foot through it as Hannibal gives it away in a poor position. And Villa just upping the tempo. Buendia. Still the Argentine. Buendia shoots and nearly caught Dubravka out. I think Elliott let that drop behind for the corner. And he will come across to take it into Watkins, and it's off the line as Burnley surviving a late push from Villa at the end of the first half. We will head into the break deadlocked at 0-0, and to be honest, I would take this. Each point we get closer to safety is a point on the board, and I think with 3 games left to play, a point is a good result. So I'll take this if we can hold out. Buendia does well, finds Martin. That's better from Villa already, quickening the pace. Bayer does well. Oh, given away. Bogard, what a save, Dubravka. And Jaden Anthony with a really poor decision in his own penalty area that we will get away with. But again, Martin Dubravka with a huge save, as now we might have a chance on the break. Hannibal, oh, terrible pass into Amdouni. Hartman forward to Jaden Anthony. Nice skill. Gets away from one. Gets it back from Hannibal. And this is better from Burnley. Amdouni! Could be the goal that keeps Burnley in the Premier League for next season. Just his 5th of the campaign. But he's been the most prolific of our centre forwards this season. And Swiss international fires us into the lead here at Turf Moor. That could be a huge goal. Elliott looking to drive Villa on straight from kickoff. Still Elliott. Martin. Pegged back. Bogard, big save. Watkins. Instant leveller for Villa. And I just didn't have time to react with Hartman there. It's one of those where the ball literally falls to you, and by time you can clear the ball, the AI have tackled you and won the ball back. Nothing we or Hartman can do about that. As the first shot is saved, yeah, it just happened so quickly. Watkins levels, and we're back to square one. Hartman to Jaden. Hannibal. Zeki. Zeki onto the right foot, denied by Marco Bizzo. Good save. That was nice skill again from Zeki, and he looks in the mood at the moment. Hartman's ball in. Walker attacks it. Bizzo saves again, and Zeki can't get there on the rebound, but I think somebody's going to win this game in the final 10. Well, this is it. Corner for Villa. Swung into the near post. Bayer gets something on it. It will drop for Villa, and Dubravka saves. Cullen clears, and that is going to do it. Nobody is going to win it, and the points will be shared here at Turf Moor. Not a terrible result, and I said I wanted to stop the rot. That is exactly what we've done against a strong European chasing Aston Villa side. But let's head back to the menu. I believe there are some midweek games before our next fixture away at the Emirates as we take on Arsenal on match day 37. And if we lose there, it could come down to the final day. So let's go and see how the other teams get on in midweek. Alright guys, this is the state of play. West Ham 6 points behind us, so for them to catch us, they would have to win both of their final 2, and for us to lose both of ours, and there would have to be a slight goal swing. As for Leeds United, we're 7 points clear of them, but they do have a game in hand, which is going to be played tonight. So we're going to sim through together, see how they get on, and they will need at least a point. Otherwise, they will not be able to catch us. Obviously, I don't care about the other teams. They will not be able to catch us. So let's see how they got on. And they won. Oh my goodness, that makes things very interesting. So Bournemouth slip into the bottom 3. They face Manchester City in their next game. Who do they play on the final day? They've got Manchester City and Nottingham Forest away. This is going to be crazy, man. West Ham face Leeds. That's a massive game as well. And is there any other big games at the bottom? Wolves are already down. So those are the two big ones. We face already relegated Wolves, but this is how the table looks. It is so tight. We'd still need to lose both of our remaining two for Bournemouth or West Ham to catch us. But Leeds United now out of the bottom three. We face Arsenal in our penultimate game of the season, where I'm expecting us to lose. So there's every chance that it goes down to the final day, depending on Bournemouth and West Ham's results. But we'll close out with Arsenal away. We could be safe today. If Bournemouth and West Ham both lose or fail to win, then we will be safe for next season. But it is pretty crazy at the bottom end of the table. So Arsenal away at the Emirates. I believe they are still chasing the title, and they need a win to have any chance of catching Liverpool in the final two games. So lots at stake for both clubs. Come on, you Clarets. Here we go then, off and underway. Of course, we lost here in the Cup in the previous episode really late on. Leandro Trossard's header at the back post lost us the game and kicked us out of the FA Cup. But we were so close to a draw in that game, which of course would have meant heading to extra time as Amdouni round the back. Oh, should have scored and should have given us the lead in what would have been the game that would have secured our survival. Big miss from Zeki. Corner for the Gunners here. We've defended well so far today, but we know how good they are from those set pieces. It's going to drop for Marino. And that's a big stop by Martin Dubravka, who once again is showing how important he has been this season. But Arsenal, so good from set pieces. How on earth has that stayed out? Gyökeres into Martin Odegaard. Get my player switching correct. And Declan Rice into Saka. Oh my goodness. What a goal. What a goal from Bukayo Saka. An Arsenal lead. That is magical. Rice. Odegaard back to Rice. Arsenal just keeping hold of the ball. That's all they need to do, as they hope to try and keep pace with Liverpool at the top. And not only will they just keep the ball, they will find Victor Gyökeres, who will find the back of the net. 14th of the year for the Swede. Points in the bag for the Gunners, and our survival looks like it may still be in the balance. Odegaard. Oh, it's lovely football, and it is a third. And like Manchester City earlier on in the episode, Arsenal do add a late third. And I just wonder what our position in the Premier League table is going to look like heading into the final game. I'm pretty confident that we will beat already relegated Wolves, but you guys will have to wait for the next episode for that game. But I am just going to quickly head back to the menus before we close out to see how the table looks. Well, guys, as we get back to the menus, we'll see that Bournemouth's draw against Manchester City means that they're now on 32 points, which means they're not down yet, as they could still survive on the final day. But for us, it means that nobody in the bottom three can catch us. Of course, Wolves are already long relegated with just 3 wins on the board. But West Ham 6 points behind us. Bournemouth 4 means that we will be playing at Premier League football next season. The lowest we can finish is 16th. And with Wolves on the final day, I'm hoping that we're going to win that and may climb up to 13th place. But yeah, it's been a really tough run in for Burnley. We've been on a really poor run of form, and we've just about scraped survival in the Premier League. But for Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton and Leeds, it is still all to play for on match day 38. So I'll bring you that in the next episode, and then I'm going to do a really in-depth first look at the save. I want to go through some of the player stats. Of course, we've now got the simmable leagues where you can actually track the player stats. So we're going to look at the other competitions, the cup winners, the top scorers, and a little look around the save as we head into season 2. So obviously make sure to drop your comments down below with transfer suggestions with who you'd like to see me sign for next season. And we'll be back in the next episode to close out season 1. I'll catch you very soon for that episode, guys. Take care and peace.